Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara, or Lara Likes Mascara, and today it is time for everyone's favorite video, at least out of the videos that I personally make. It's time for a Project Pan update. Yes, here we are, 2 months later. It is the beginning of May. And because I do these updates every 2 months, that means it's time to talk to you about all of the progress that I've made on my Project Pan items. Have I decluttered anything? Have I panned anything? This is going to be a good update. I mean, all updates are good updates, but last month I had no empties, I'm pretty sure, or maybe one. This year I do have some pans and I do have some declutters. So there are going to be a lot of changes. I'm bringing in quite a few new things into this project this month. So I will talk about the items that are leaving my collection first and then go through everything else. And then at the end of the video, I will talk about the new products that I am bringing in to start trying to Project Pan. Yeah, let's just get into it. I've got 2 empties this month, so let's talk about those first. These will not be a surprise if you watch all of my other videos because they were featured in my most recent empties and declutter video, which I will link here. So these have been done for a while now, probably at least 3 weeks, I want to say. This has got to be the most exciting update of today. This is the Sonia Kashuk brow powder. It is completely finished, thank goodness. I thought this was going to be done before it was even 2024, and yet here we are. It's May and I'm only just now announcing that this is done. It took way longer than expected. Powder products tend to be like that. I don't know why I thought that this would be any different. I didn't dislike this. I think it was good as a brow powder. It was an accurate shade match. Now that I'm using a different brow product, I actually think I like that better than this. But while I was using this, I was happy with it. I just wanted it to be finished because I'd been working on it for so long, which is kind of how it always goes. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm glad that this is done, and I'm sure you're enjoying the little slideshow here showing my progress over the past year or so. RIP. The next empty is a lip liner. This is from Kiko. You can barely even see the writing. It's really rubbed off there, which shows that, you know, I did use it and enjoy it. This was in the shade 536, and the little nub inside fully came out the last time I tried to sharpen it. So I can't even show you the shade that this was, but it was like a dark mauve. I mean, yeah, if you've seen my videos before, you know what this looks like. I did not love it. I was not expecting it to be done as soon as it was. I thought there would be more product inside, but I was relieved when I realized that it was finished and that I didn't have to use it anymore. You know, sometimes that happens. Most people would have decluttered it before now, but I was dedicated and I'm glad that I was, and I'm glad I can say that this was a pan and not a declutter. So moving that out. I also do have a lipstick Project Pan if you're interested in like a lip focused project where I focus exclusively on the lips. I will link that series here as well. Okay, and then we've only got one declutter from the past update. You probably maybe have seen this coming. This is the NYX Jumbo Stick in Milk. I tried to make this work for so long, and I think I actually set myself a goal, like, I don't know, by the end of May or by the end of the year, whatever, I would be decluttering this. I can't even remember how long I told myself I had to keep it because I just got fed up and I was like, you know what? Any amount of time is too much. I don't want this in my life anymore. I never reached for it. I always told myself, oh, I would try using it as a highlight or I would try using it as an eyeshadow primer. None of the ways that I used it worked. And maybe that is because this is very old and so the texture and consistency changed, so I don't have to entirely blame the product itself. Part of it is my fault for having it for so long, but it's not for me. And you know, I'm not going to be repurchasing it to see if there's a new updated formula or if it's better today. That's the shade, it's just white. I'm just going to say goodbye to this and that will be it. I did use up quite a bit of it. Like, it used to be bigger. I can actually show you because I have been monitoring my progress. But I simply am not willing to use this for the next year or two or however long it will take to finish it up. Also, I apologize about my nails. It has been a chaotic time. It's been the Hot Docs Festival here in Toronto. I'm a big film festival person. So I did my nails for that. And just catch up post-festival has been... I mean, it's always just chaos. So I'm just trying to get everything done. And I wanted to prioritize filming this video rather than spending half an hour or an hour fixing up my nails before I had the chance to film the video. So yeah, that's my apology. Just don't look at them today, okay? Okay, let's measure it. You can not even really tell the measurements because I just recorded it like with this, which is obviously like invisible on paper. I don't know why I did it that way, but let's take a look. Okay, there's been a tiny bit of progress since the last update. I'll mark it with pen this time. I've learned my lesson. Here is where we are at. You can see just a tiny bit of progress. And I think it started like up here. That is where it looks like the first mark is. So since I tried to pan it, I have made some progress, but it probably would have been more productive to just declutter it, I don't know, like a year ago when I realized I didn't want it anymore. But at least I realized now. So those are all the products that are leaving my collection from this update. So I've got space for 3 new additions in the project. But let's move on to the other products where I have made progress. I made progress on all of these, surprisingly. So let's talk about that progress. Once again, I'm having to film during the week because weekends are so busy at this time of year. And so there's some construction going on. Hopefully you can't hear it. I do apologize if you can. And more traffic than usual. Okay, here's my little list. The next product that I have to report on is the Milk Blush. Not the one that I decluttered. There was 2 I was hoping to finish this year. One of them I decluttered. I couldn't handle using that. And the other one, oh, there's like something on the bottom, is this one. This has been its own saga. At first, I really liked it, then I disliked it, then it broke when I tried to like twist it up and people were like, oh, stick it in the fridge, that'll fix it. So I did, and it did fix it, and then it had the same problem again. It wouldn't twist up or down. And at that point, I gave up on it. I think I made a TikTok being like, yeah, this is officially broken and it's being decluttered. But someone was like, try the freezer this time. Just try it. And so I did. And in fact, that worked. And I was able to actually screw it up and down after that. And I even liked the texture and consistency better when it was frozen because it was more like, this is not the most creamy blush. Like, you know, sure, it'll like dispense product, but in that frozen form, it dispensed more product more easily. It was more creamy. And I actually had a thought like, oh, every day after I use it, I should stick it back in the freezer so that the next time I use it, it's a better product. But what would end up happening is I would just forget that it's in the freezer and reach for a different blush and then never end up using it. So I'm not going to do that, but I anticipate another freezer trip in my future because I want to show you and I want to know myself how much progress there has been. And the only way to do that is to screw it all the way up. And you know what happens when I screw it all the way up? Then I can't screw it back down. This is just a reminder that this is not a good product. Packaging, the component just breaks really easily. Do not buy these Milk blushes. This is not an endorsement of the Milk blush. Okay, so let's screw it up. Oh, just kidding. I can't even screw it up. I was so excited to see how much was left. Okay, so what I'm gonna do after this is I will stick it in the freezer and then maybe later today or tomorrow I will take it out and screw it all the way up if I can. And then I will see, I'll take a picture and I will insert it here. Nope, not working. Okay. Well, I don't get to find out today. Hopefully with this picture you did, but I have actually been using this quite a bit and it has grown on me somewhat. I find it a good like base. I wouldn't use this by itself. I always have to use it in combination with a powder blush because there's just not enough pigment. Like you can see, it blends away so easily. I mean, if I compare it to this NYX stick blush, which has so much more pigment, like even just a tiny bit, if I blend it like that, look how much more color there is, even if I keep blending. And that was 1 swipe versus 4 across my hand. So anyways, all this to say, I think this is an okay blush in combination with other blushes, but it just can't be used by itself unless you are like a no makeup girly. Then it's fine. If I have no other makeup on, like no concealer, no foundation, it works pretty well as that kind of blush. That is not really my journey. But if that's your makeup style, then I would recommend the Milk blushes. Otherwise, no. Moving on, the next product is this lip sample from KVD. I have been hanging on to this for a long time, and last update, I hadn't even opened it. I was like, whoops, forgot to use this, because I have a bunch of red lipsticks that I am trying to pan right now as part of my lipstick project pan. This is not this one actually, but I did open it. I have been using it quite a bit as a lip product and as a blush, but unfortunately I do not like it as either. It is just not quite the right tone for me. This is more of an orangey red. I think blue reds also look nice, but this I would say is like a watermelon, almost like pinky red. So it looks like it's a deep red, but when you, why do I always do the most awkward swatches? When you blend it out, it becomes much more pink. Let me blend it up here. Do you see? That's the way it looks on my face. And I like red, I like pink, like as blush colors, but reddish pink, it doesn't look good on me. Again, it can look fine under another powder blush, but by itself, I do not like the look. As a lip product, it also is not a great shade on me, so I don't think that I will be panning this. I know it's just a sample, but I've probably already used it 10 times, and there's still so much left. This would probably take another at least 30 uses, and I just don't really want to use a product that I don't love 30 more times. So not enjoying this. Next update, I will be decluttering this, but I want to get a bit more use out of it, so I'm going to keep it in the project for the next 2 months. Okay, this next one is the brow product that's replacing the Sonia Kashuk one. This is the MAC Dirty Blonde Fluid Line Brow Gel Cream. And I actually had this in the project last update, but I never, again, just like the lip sample, I never reached for it, but that was because I was trying to use up the Sonia Kashuk Brow Duo. So since I finished that one, I have been reaching for this one every day. There hasn't been a single day that I've used another brow product, I'm pretty sure, and it has grown on me. Now, when I use this, however rarely, over the past few years, I didn't like it very much. I thought it just gave me way too heavy of a brow look, but it turns out I just needed to play around with it a bit more, experiment, and see what kind of looks I could do with it. And I was just going in with way too heavy a hand before, because this is, I mean, it doesn't look like a dark shade, but on my brows, it is fairly dark. And so if I use it over my whole brow, and if I do it heavy-handedly, then my brows look very large, like they did in the old days when I used to really overdo my brows. I'm not about that look anymore, but I still do like a bold brow. And so what I do is I just do sort of the inner part of my brow. I fill that in, and then the upper arch, I do a little bit at the very top here, and that's pretty much all I do. I will use a brow comb, like a spoolie, to swipe through my brows, and I will still use a brow gel all over my eyebrows, but I don't use this all throughout because I find that just gives me too thick a brow look, and I already have thick brows. I don't need to fill them all the way in, which is interesting because I'd always filled them all the way in, but I'm really liking how my brows look these days. I feel like I've figured out how to use this product, and dare I say, they're looking even better than they did in the Sonia Kashuk brow days. Very small difference. Probably no one has noticed, but I feel like my brows are looking the way I like them to these days. So I'm really enjoying using this. I think it'll take a long time to use up because I use such a small amount every day because I just do part of my brows. So we'll see how long it takes to use, but for now I am really enjoying this. So yeah, I've been enjoying the brow part of my routine lately, which is nice. Let's move on to some actual measuring, seeing how much progress we've done. And I realized that I didn't measure my Kiko Mauve lip liner because it's done, but I did want to check how much progress we've made since the last update, because obviously I used it quite a bit before I actually finished it up. So, wow, look at that. The past few months, I've just been so proactive. So you can see this was the finished part. This is where we're at now. That was the previous mark from the previous update, and before that it was way up there. So I really worked hard on using up this lip liner, and it worked. So I'm glad that I put so much time and effort into it, because I managed to finish it up. So much progress in just about 4 months. So that's amazing. Okay, this next one is brown liner, and it has been in my project pan on and off for like probably more than 2 years now. So let's see if we've made any progress in the past few months. I haven't been using this very much as like a top liner. I've more been reaching for black and burgundy liners, but I have been using this on my bottom lash line quite a bit recently. So let's measure. Oh, nice. Okay, look at that. We have made progress since last time. I'm really happy about that. As you can see, it's only a bit at a time, but it's still something. This is not a product that I love, but it's also not a product that I've hated. It's just kind of like, it's fine. Like, it's a neutral brown eyeliner. I have used brown eyeliners that I prefer. There was a NYX one that I loved. I think it was in the shade like chocolate or something, which was a much better formula than this one. And I think one day I will probably repurchase that, but they're really not that different. And so I feel like I should finish this one first before I move back to that one. But I also feel like if I owned that one, I would use it way more than I'm using this current brown liner. So yeah, I don't know. But we will come back to the eyeliner discussion soon, later in this video. So stay tuned. Okay, we've really got a little bit of everything in this series, which I love. Sometimes it's too like blush focused or too foundation focused or whatever, but we've got some of everything. This next one, this is a highlight from MAC that I've just depotted into this little container, and I really feel like you're starting to be able to see like the bottom and the last few chunks in this. Now obviously highlight takes forever to use, but I'm still enjoying it. And honestly, I thought that I preferred I have one of the Becca highlights. I thought I preferred that one, but I used it the other day as like a little treat, you know, like I'm working on panning this one, but when I'm feeling kind of bored, then I'll use a different product. And so I used that one, and I was like, oh, I actually don't think that this looks as good as the MAC highlight. So that was interesting. I should probably like compare them more to see which one is a favorite. But anyways, still been really enjoying this. I mean, on the whole, I haven't gotten tired of it. Occasionally I'll reach for something else, but I'm fine using this pretty much every day. So this will stay in the project pan maybe until it is completely panned, which will be a long time. And then we do have one bronzer in this project. This is the Illamasqua bronzer it is Gel Sculpt Outline, and I hadn't even had this for very long when I brought it into the project, but I knew that it would be going quickly because it is such a like creamy, I don't know how to describe it. This is a texture that I've never felt with any product before, and I just figured that it would get used up very quickly. You really have to use a lot. I just have to rub this so many times on my cheeks before it actually shows up. There we go. That was so much swiping. And so I think I've made a ton of progress on this. I'm going to compare it to the previous picture, and even though it's been only 2 months, I bet this like super noticeable difference. So I'm guessing, well, this will be done by the end of the year for sure, but maybe not next update. Like, I don't know if this would be done by July, but I think September. I think it could probably be done this by September. What do you guys think? Because I use this pretty much every single time I do my makeup. It has really grown on me, and I have high hopes for it. Yeah, we'll see. This was decluttered to me by a friend. It wasn't like a new product, but it was new to my collection this year. This probably doesn't really need to be in the project pan because I know I'm going to finish it up anyways, but when you have products like this where it's like measurable, or when it's powder and you can see the progress happening, I just like to document it. So that's why I'm including it in this project. Okay, so those are pretty much all of the old products that were needed an update from last time. And now I have a bunch of new things that I'm bringing in to the project pan. This one, Okay, well, I will explain. I had this in the project pan from last month, and I am going to switch to a different product because my focus was this blush. Last time I said that I really wanted to work on expanding the pan in this corner here because this was in my blush roulette for the month of, I think, March, and I knew that I would probably focus on the other shades because this already had pan, so I knew that I liked it, but I would probably focus on the other blush and these two because I don't have pan in them, and so I still wanted to encourage myself to use this one as well and expand that pan. So I will show you some comparison pictures. I have definitely expanded the pan, not that much, but it kind of makes sense because I've been doing a blush roulette. You know, I've had other blushes that I have been focusing on, so I achieved my goal, but maybe not quite as much as I was hoping. I had to go take a little lunch break. I got hungry. Anyways, during the blush roulette month that this was in, I used all of these quite a bit. This is still the blush that I liked the best. So again, I will show comparison pictures, but for this next update, for the next 2 months, I have decided that I'm going to be focusing instead on the bronzer because, I mean, I'm doing a blush roulette, so I have blushes that I need to focus on every month, as well as, you know, the milk blush. So it doesn't really make sense to have more blushes in this project pan, but this bronzer, I want to get some more use out of it, and my goal is actually to hit pan on it. I have no idea how close we are. It's challenging to tell with all of these how close we are to the bottom. I think I'm pretty far, but I have been using this since it was the focus product for that month of blush roulette. I think that was March. This is the bronzer I've been using every day, pretty much, when I do like a full face of makeup. Because I realized I actually don't have that many more powder bronzers. I have this, and then I have a like individual bronzer from Personnel, and I used that for a couple days, and then I realized I actually like this one better. So I'm gonna focus on hitting pan on this. Maybe once I do, I will let myself declutter this. I don't know, because I don't love it, but again, I don't have that many powder bronzers, and I like this one, so I feel like it's still worth keeping. But yeah, this has been a pretty much daily product, and so I just want to be tracking my usage and seeing if my feelings change over time. As it is getting into the summer, I'll probably be using fewer powder products, so maybe I won't want to reach for powder bronzers at all, but while I am enjoying it, I wanted to have it in the project pan. So hopefully by next month I can see some pan, but again, I have no idea if I'm 1 month out from that, 10 months out from that. There's really no way to tell with this kind of product. But nevertheless, this is staying in the project, but a different one of the 4. And then the new ones that I will be adding in, I'm doing 1 eyeliner, 1 foundation, and 1 brow product, and 1 highlighter. So I'm actually gonna have more than 10 for this next update. Usually I'm like, what should I add in? Like, I need to hit that number 10, and I can only think of 8 or 9. But this time I'm like, you know what? We're gonna have more than 10. So let's first talk about the eyeliner, if I can find it. It's here somewhere, I swear. This next one I really should have included in the project pan last month. That is a regret of mine. I actually, like, literally later that day after I filmed it, I realized that instead of this bronzer, I should have included this eyeliner because I was so close to finishing it, and now I'm even closer to finishing it. But, you know, I might as well include it. Better late than never. This is the Urban Decay eyeliner. It's double-ended. One side is black, one side is a teal shade. I do not like teal on my eyes whatsoever, so I've decided I won't be using up the teal side, but I'm just focusing on the black end. Let me swatch these for you here. The teal one has some shimmer in it. The black one is just straight black. Those are the 2 shades. And with this black one, there's so little left that when I use it, I actually use an eyeliner brush. Like, I take it and then I apply it with the brush rather than with the eyeliner, because it's just, it's so thick that it always looked way too heavy on my eyes. And I just find, this is what I'm wearing today, I just find it's better with the eyeliner brush. And also I can't really sharpen it down anymore because this silver is like, it's not paper, it's too thick. So once I finish like that little bit that's there, it will be done. And this seems like, oh, it'll be done in one use. No, it's been looking like this for over a month now. So I do expect that it will be finished by my next update, but this is not going to be done like next week or anything. Like, it's taking a while. Every time I use it, it uses just such a small amount that I'm guessing this is at least 7 to 10 uses probably to use this up. And the best way to encourage myself to actually finish something up is to put it in the project pan. And so that is why I'm doing that, even though it's inevitable. It will be done soon, but I did want to document it. So this is one that will be done next time for sure. I'm saying it now. The next one that I am pulling in is a foundation. I don't think I've had a foundation in the project. Well, definitely not. It has been over a year, because a year ago I got the Fenty Ease Drops, and that has been my only foundation for a while now, and I love them, so I don't need to project pan them because, you know, I know inevitably at some point I'm going to use them up. I suppose. But this is what I'm pulling into the project pan. So a while ago, my mom decluttered to me a bunch of foundations. They're all these Dior ones in different shades, and even though it's Dior, and I think this retails for like, well, upwards of $50. I want to say like $70. I don't think it's very good. This is way too thick and cakey on me. I've also never seen anyone talk about this on YouTube. So that's usually a sign that it's not a great product. You know, like, if you haven't heard of it, there's a reason for that. I am wearing this today. I think it looks good on camera, but just in real life, it's thicker than I like. It's kind of cakey. It looks kind of like powdery, like the way it sits on the skin is not very natural looking. So I do not wear this if I have like an occasion where I want my makeup to look its best. But because I have multiple of this and the other ones I have not opened, I think I've used some of the other ones like once or twice, I can really compare how much product is in this compared to the other ones. So you can't visually tell how much is left, but based on the weight, you can. And I've never done this before. I find it a little bit too much work when people actually weigh their products. But in this case, I am really curious about how much is left, because you really cannot tell at all. This is a spray foundation. And because I don't like it that much and I have other ones, I want to know how long it's going to take me to finish this. Like, I want to know if I should declutter the other ones or keep them because, you know, I'm going to be done this next month or the month after or whatever. So I've got this scale behind me, and let's weigh them. Let's compare a full one to the one that I have been using. Okay, here we go. Can you see me? You can probably see my score. So this is at 0. This is the one. This is the new one. So it's 78 grams all in, so between 79 and 78. And this one, it says 10 grams. So I have used up 10 grams of it, and in total there's 74 grams. I feel like this is like chemistry. I'm doing like, you know, displacement, calculating the weight of displacement. So I have used up 10 grams out of 74. So that's not very much. I've been using it since I think like late January. So it has taken 3 months to use up 10 grams. So it's gonna take a long time to use up. I wish I was using up faster, but you know what? At least this way I will be able to tell the rate at which I am using it and how quickly it's going. At this rate, I expect I will only have about 30 grams of use this year, so it'll be about half done, just less than half done. But yeah, I look forward to weighing this product. I never thought that I would say that in future updates. Okay, and then the final 2 products that I'm pulling into my project pan, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the year in my like plan to pan video. These 2 Merit products. Merit is like a cleaner brand, and so the products do expire quicker than your typical brand. And this brow gel, it is smelling a little bit funny. Yeah, it didn't smell like this the last time that I used it, or the last time I gave it a sniff. Now, your brow gel smelling kind of weird is not as bad as like a foundation smelling weird, because that goes all over your skin. Like, it's just your brows, it's fine. But because I don't think there is very much left in here, I might as well try to use it up. I do like it. It doesn't have like the most hold, but it feels like more of a summer product to me because of that. It's a more natural brow look, especially if I'm not wearing anything in my brows. So I'm going to encourage myself to use this more, to try to use it up, because it is in the process of expiring. So I might as well enjoy it before I gotta remove it from my collection without having used it. And the next one is my final Merit product. This one still smells fine. I just gave it a sniff yesterday. This is the cream highlight in the shade Kava. This is absolutely beautiful. This is such a natural highlight. It looks beautiful under powder highlight. It looks beautiful by itself on the skin if you're not wearing any other makeup. I think it's the only cream highlight I've ever tried, so admittedly I don't have that much to compare it to, but it's just so natural. It blends in so beautifully. It looks incredible on the skin. I mean, this is really not doing it justice, but I love this. I don't want it to be done, but at the same time, I've had it, I think, coming up on 3 years now. Yeah, about 2.5 years now, and I think it says it's only good for 12 months. You know, take that with a grain of salt, but I don't... If I could have this done by the 3-year mark, that would be good. I think that was like end of September of 2021, so I should work on getting this out of my collection, especially because it is summer and this is such a great product for summer, so I want to enjoy it one last summer while I can. But that was it. Those were all of the new products that I'm bringing into this project and all of the progress that I have made over the past 2 months on the products that were already in this project pan. This was a very long update, and I have actually been thinking about increasing the frequency with which I do my project pans, because I do it every 2 months, and sometimes that feels like the right amount of time because sometimes I don't make any progress, but I made so much progress the past 2 months that I'm like, no wonder it was so long. I had so much to talk about. So depending on how well I do over the next 2 months, or month even, if I have a lot of progress and I have, 2 empties within the next 3 weeks, then I will probably think about doing my project pan next month, or at like a 6-month interval rather than an 8-month interval. Let me know what you think about that though, and if you think that that is too frequent. But that is it for today's update. Thank you so much for watching, and let's talk about a book that I have been reading lately. Okay, my book today, I'm 95% sure I haven't talked about this before. This is Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism and Other Arguments for Economic Dependence by Kristen R. Godsey. This was actually my pick for my book club. Ironically enough, I was not able to make it to book club because it was during Hot Docs. So that was unfortunate. Apparently there were some really good discussions, but the other people in the book club didn't love it, apparently, which is annoying. But I already know that I have different tastes from a lot of people in my book club, but I thought this was excellent. It was very academic. It was like, it took a while to get through, even though, it's clearly not very long. It's like 100 and something pages. Yeah, like not just under 200 pages, but it's very, very dense. There's a lot of studies cited. I will explain the thesis of this as when women are economically independent, essentially their lives are better. When women are forced to choose their partners, marital partners, because of finances, because they need to find someone to be financially dependent on, because they don't have sufficient rights, or they're not able to work because of the societal system that they are under, they will just do what they have to do. They will marry the person that they have to because they do not have a choice. And so, of course, when you're marrying someone for a reason that doesn't have to do with love, it's not going to be the best partnership. If you're choosing someone based on attraction and interest and love and passion, then it's going to be a better partnership. But women are only able to do that if they have the freedom to choose the right partner. And they only have that freedom if they have equal rights to men. So that was a very quick thesis of the book. Now, I am a socialist, so I already came in with that understanding and those values. I'm sure that someone who is extremely pro-capitalism would not agree with the conclusions that the author came to, but she cites so many studies throughout the book. I don't know how you would refute her arguments, but then again, I don't think that someone who is anti-socialism would even be interested in reading the book. So if you are interested in comparisons between capitalism and socialism, I would recommend this book. It was great, and I'm really glad that I spent the time reading it. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this very, very long Project Pan update, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!